Now it's time for baking with Mother. Today we are making Millionaires Shortbread.
You've seen the ingredients and the equipment you're going to need for the base. So first things first, we have to make the shortbread. So we mix our flour and sugar. There goes our flour. We'll put it all in, and our sugar in a bowl. So we're just going to very quickly give that a quick mix. That's literally all it needs. And then we're going to add our butter, which I've cut up into smaller chunks. That last bit in. Obviously, if you're doing this by hand, you would literally be doing it by hand. I don't. So we're going to set that going so it gets to breadcrumbs. That's just about done now, so we can turn that off. It's all nice into breadcrumbs, so we're just going to get that off of there. Put that in the washing up, and then we're going to take our lime tin. It doesn't have to be a square, it could be a round, and we're going to add this in, but you just have to make sure you line it. Now in the past I've tried to knead this before putting it in, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to spread it out, shake it about so that it's, and then just using my fist I will just press it down, and that is just a million times easier. And you just use one finger just to get into the very edges, and just literally pushing it down, trying to get it as even as possible. You know, ideally if you had something that was square, you could use that to push on it. The only thing I could think of would be the end of a rolling pin, but that wouldn't be square, so I just use my hands. So as you can now see, that is all firmly pushed down, and now I'm going to get the fork, just get it from the floor. I'm just going to prick it all over. And just literally prick it up and down until you've pricked everything. So there we go. And now you can see all the fork pricks in there. So that's going to bake in the oven now. Push those loose bits down a bit there. That's going to bake in the oven now for 20 minutes at 160 degrees. So we'll get that in. Alexa, set a 20-minute timer.
20 minutes, starting now.
Right, we'll be back in 20 minutes when that is done. Okay, so the 20 minutes is just about up. There we go. Alexa, off. So we're going to get it out the oven now. There we go. As you can see, lovely, this light golden colour. Not too much. You don't want it too cooked. So there we go, shut the oven. And while that is cooling there, so just leave it in the tin, we're going to get on with our caramel layer. So to make the caramel, we need to put our butter. You've just seen all the ingredients that you're going to need. So take your butter, the sugar, and the condensed milk. Pour it all in. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Let me move. So you just pour it all in. If anyone can tell me how to open one of these tins without it not catching in two places, or if you know where to get one that has a ring pull, do let me know. So, getting it out, so that's the main thing. Pull it all out. Take your time, don't rush and don't cut yourself on the tin. So I've got most of that now. So what I'm going to do is put that there a sec. Use my spatula to scrape off the knife. And I'm going to put the knife in my washing up bowl because it's all sticky. And then use my spatula to get the last of it out. So just getting that out as much as you can. Against the edge of the saucepan there. I think that is probably about as much as I'm going to get. Now again, because it's a tin can, it can be recycled, so I will now just pop that straight into my washing up bowl, but remembering that it's in there so I don't cut myself on it later. So that's gone in there to soak off, and then I can wash that up. So now we take this and we put it on a heat. So we're going to I'll turn you guys round so that you can see. Here we go, so we turn the heat on. I'm just using the smallish one. Move that over. So we're just going to stir it gently until all the sugar and butter has dissolved. Making sure, of course, that your spatula is a heat-proof one. You don't want to use one and have the spatula melt. So just double check there. Heat it gently until the sugar's dissolved, stirring continuously to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. Turn the heat up, stirring all the time, bring to the boil, then we have to lower it back down and stir for 5 to 10 minutes until it thickens slightly. So once it's all melted, we may move to a bigger gas, just to, can't really turn it up on the small one, it's already as high as it will go. Yeah, so stirring away, making sure you guys can see. Move those oven gloves, bring you any closer, not drop you. Let me just adjust this. There, that's better, isn't it? Now you can really see what's going on. Move you there, there we go. As you can see, it's starting to dissolve down. I can't really see much of the sugar now. It's just a case of getting the butter to dissolve. And yeah, it's just the process is just stir and stir again and keep stirring. Obviously, the smaller you were to cut your batter up, the quicker it would dissolve. I cut it up fairly small. I've done it before when I haven't cut it up much at all, and it was there for ages waiting for it to melt. So definitely cut it up as small as you can. Still got some bits of sugar that is refusing to dissolve here. Reminds me of the fudge making, standing here stirring. It's just like, oh. Switch arms if you need to. Just make sure to continue to scrape the bottom, scrape the sides, and keep stirring. I think that's my butter pretty much gone. There might be the odd bit. I don't know about you, but I can't stir for long with my wrong arm because it's just not right. So from what I can tell, all the butter has now melted, so I'm going to turn that off and move it to here. I can now have it on a higher heat and bring it to the boil. So, just keep stirring until it comes to the boil. Okay, so that's had a few minutes now, just stirring constantly, and it's just starting to boil. You start to hear the noise as you go around the edge, so now signify that it's starting to boil. So that is almost now to the point where I'm going to turn it down and let it fully boil. And now we're going to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off and bring it back to this heat. Really light. There we go. And I can control it a bit better with this one, and it's nearer to me, so I'm going to turn that down. So I'm going to turn that heat just down, and now we're going to cook it, boil it, stir it for 5 to 10 minutes. So we can start timer. Alexa, start a 5-minute timer.
5 minutes. Starting now.
So we're just going to do the first 5 and then we'll see. If we think it's thick enough, we'll stop, but I think it normally does need the 10. Yeah, so just keep stirring. As you can see, it's still ever slightly boiling. Let me check, does it need it? Maybe turn it down a little bit more. Yeah, just a touch more, don't want to boil it too much. Like I say, we'll do it for the first 5 minutes and then we'll see how thick it looks. If we need to, we'll do it for another couple. If we need to, we'll do it for the full extra 5. Okay, so we're still stirring away here, and that is our 5-minute timer. Alexa, off. So now it's a case of working out, has that thickened enough, or do we need to do another couple of minutes? I think we'll do another couple, I think. Alexa, set a 2-minute timer.
2 minutes. Starting now.
So yeah, just continue to stir until you're happy that it's thickened up. It needs to thicken a little bit, which to be fair it probably has, but we'll just do the extra couple of minutes just to be on the safe side. Obviously once you've done it a few times, if you can kind of like remember what heats you've used, especially if you've got a hob that has numbers, you can probably remember exactly how long it needs to get the perfect caramel layer. But then some people like it thick, you know, firmer. Some people prefer it softer. So once this has had its extra 2 minutes, we pour it over the first layer and then we leave that to cool. Then we add our final layer. Now when I did the mini egg version, I put the little mini eggs on top of the base, and then again on the very top. But we're just doing the normal version today. If anybody would like anything baked, I'm full up this week and next week, but I'm free the week after, which I believe is the 23rd. I don't know, you have to check out my Facebook page because it has it on there. Okay, I think I'm happy with this now. I'm just going to, Alexa, cancel timer.
2-minute timer cancelled.
There we we go. I don't know how long we got into that, but there we go. So I'm going to turn that off, move my stool that I was sitting on, get us a board, turn you guys round. There you go. And bring it over. And we give it a last stir. And then we just simply pour it over. Make sure to get it all out. And then make sure it's into all the corners. You don't want it missing bits, so spread it out with your spatula. Make sure the greaseproof paper isn't falling down. I've got a little bit there that needs just having it on. So there we go. Okay, and leave that to cool completely. So we'll be back when that's done that. Okay. Okay, so now that our caramel has cooled down, we can go on to our top layer. Now you need 200 grams of chocolate, and it can be any chocolate you like. Dark, milk, half and half, chocolate orange if you wanted that. You could add anything into it. So we're just going today for Cadbury's because that was what was requested. So we've got our saucepan with some water in it. We're going to put this over here and put the chocolate in the glass bowl on the top. I'm going to turn you guys round so you can see. There you go. I'll just angle you slightly better. There we go. So all we're going to do is turn the heat on and stir away. And as always, I'm using my jug because the handle is very useful. So it's just a case of letting this melt down and then pour on the top. So we're going to leave this just to melt. Okay, so this has been melting away for about 5 minutes now, and it's definitely getting there. So it's not going to be too much longer. There's still some lumps, as you can see, just there. So there we go. It's just a case of stirring it round. This is one for your arms, this recipe. If you just keep stirring, it really won't be long now. Obviously having this handle makes it a lot nicer and easier to be able to hold the bowl steady while you stir. I've done normal glass bowls before and you can't touch them, they get too hot. So that is just about melted now. So we're going to turn that gas off. We're going to move our board over to there. We're going to get a tea towel to put on the board. That's on there now. And then we're going to move you guys first. So as you can see, here we are. We're now going to bring our melted chocolate across. Obviously the tea towel will absorb any hot water, and then we can just use that just to dry it off, just to stop any boiling water at this point dripping on us. So we're going to move things around carefully. So bring that there. Oh, it's heavy. Bring that there and that there. Just move it up a little bit. There we go. So all you're going to do now is take your chocolate and pour it on top of your caramel. So just spread it out as you pour it, and then you can spread it more once you've got it all out as well. So it's all covered over. Just get it all out. It's the first thing to do. Oh, I really have to resist not licking the bowl afterwards. I've been too naughty, I've got to be good. It's very hard though when it's lovely chocolate here. Just get it all out. And if you're trying to diet like me, be good and just put the bowl, well, not directly into the hot water because it could crack, but out the way. Get the last bits out there. So there we go, put that there out the way, and then just use your spatula just to smooth it out across the whole of the caramel. Again, like we did with the caramel, making sure that it's into all the corners. And as well, obviously if your caramel's not firm enough, then you're going to end up mixing the two together. So you do have to let the caramel set, and that had about an hour and a half, I think, to set. Gives you a chance to wash up and sort yourself out. So just keep going, tease it into those corners. Come on, again. And then up to all your edges. I need a bit more in that corner, along that edge. And then I think I'm nearly there. And you can, once you've done this, add any decoration that you want to. For this one in particular, it's going to have some white chocolate stars added, and that was the request that I had. Oh, there's a caramel there that's not covered in chocolate. In you get, and a little bit more teased into that corner. Obviously, if you really like the chocolate, you could increase the amount and have a thicker layer. Equally, if you don't like the chocolate, you could decrease it. So there we go, that's that. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to take our white chocolate stars and just sprinkle them over. Now, I was thinking about this last night, like my brain likes to when I'm trying to sleep, and I thought if I got a little measuring spoon, and then I could just have a few, and then it would be easier than trying to tip them out of the pot, and that is working well. Obviously, once these goes on, you don't want to touch them, because where they've hit the chocolate, they're just going to melt if you touch them. So being able to sprinkle them easily is actually really quite helpful. Obviously, if you were doing like a chocolate orange version, you could put the chocolate orange slices on the top. A couple more. Oh, I think that's enough. There we go. So there we have our Millionaires Shortbread, and leave that to cool, and then you can cut it up. But I'm not going to cut it up. I'm going to leave it for the person who asked for it to do it. Okay, see you next week, and if you'd like anything baked, just let me know.
And there we have it. Thank you for watching this video, if indeed you still are. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, please drop us a like and subscribe. Check back soon for our next video, and if you have any suggestions, please pop them in the comments or email me directly on bakingwithmother@gmail.com.